When you're developing your applications and you're ready to submit them to the App Store, you have to create and generate your app's own ID. Now what this is an application identifier. It basically gives an ID to the app and it can be identified on the App Store and called at any given point depending on its own identifier. Now, every app that you create has to have one of these. It's a way for you to basically, in a sense, almost contact the app and get information, again, depending on its ID. It's very much like how you have a number of friends and you want to talk to one of your friends, so you have to dial their phone number into your phone to call them. It's kind of like that. The only way you can contact your app and get the information from it, such as sales reports or kind of download reports, anything like that, you have to refer and get its identifier. So how we do this is within the member center of developer.apple.com. You want to head over to the certificates, identifiers and profile section within it, and then head over to the identifiers underneath our iOS apps category. From within here, underneath app ID here, you want to go to our plus symbol at the top here, press it, as we can then generate our own application ID or identifier for it. So you just want to give your app a description, and this is for only your eyes only. So you're not actually giving your app its actual name, it's just so you can identify it within your developer profile, so you can differentiate between which kind of app is which within the identifier. So I'll just call this simply test. And you can then leave the app ID prefix alone, leave it as it is, and then you need to give it a bundle identifier. Now this is the important part. This is the actual identifier that's going to be referencing your own application. And you need to do it in a reverse domain format. So what you do is start with the reverse of a domain, so it's com. Then you need to do dot, then your developer name. For example, if your developer name was Steve Jobs, you just type in Steve Jobs, and then you do dot, and then the name of your application. So let's say you were creating Flappy Bird, and that was the name of your app. So you do com dot your developer dot then the application name, which will be Flappy Bird. So then that is your bundle identifier. You can then scroll down and you can add any of the enabled services. So if you're using Apple Pay within your app, make sure you enable it, or app groups, anything like that. Just make sure you enable all of this stuff if you are using it for your app ID. So what I'm going to do is quickly copy what we've got there, so we have it on hand, our bundle ID. And all you need to do is press continue and then get ready to submit that and create it. Now once you create that, then that application needs to be linked to that app ID. So within Xcode, when you create a project, which we talk about how to create projects and what they mean in the next lecture, but when you go to create it, and you're just going to quickly give your product a name, so I'll just call it test. And in the organization identifier, you're going to do com dot the name of what you called it, so Steve Jobs, and we leave it like that. And so already generated, it's going to be com.stevejobs.test after the name of your project. Now the name of your project is just something you can reference in your folders. So we're just going to quickly create that. And what we need to do is head to our info.plist. As you can see in our bundle identifier, it's now com.stevejobs.test. But we need to set it to the app ID we created within our identifiers. So within our identifier or info.plist here, we need to go to our bundle identifier line here. Just need to delete what's in it and paste in what we created within our member center. And then let's select that there. Just quickly Command B to build our project, and then go back to our project name at the top, and you can now see that our bundle identifier is com.stevejobs.flappybird, which is what we created and generated within our developer ID section here. So now it's linked to this project, which means when you go to submit your application, it's already linked with its own app ID, which you can refer to it, get all the information from the app when it's live on the App Store back into your developer account. So we've touched upon it a little bit here, and in the next lecture we're going to be talking about project types, how we can create our first project and differentiating between the different ones and deciding what's best for you.